Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in for today's after-school program. I'm Miss Chinasa with the Schenectady County Public Library, and today we are joining Jumpstart, which is a national organization that focuses on building early literacy in kids. We're joining them in a national campaign that's called Read for the Record. It allows us to bring young children and their grown-ups together to read the same book on the same day in communities all over the world. And today, we celebrate literacy and support Jumpstart in its efforts to promote this early childhood education event. So today, that being October 28th, we will learn more about dragons together and the different cultures they may be found in through the book Amy Wu and the Patchwork Dragon, written by Kat Zhang and illustrated by Charlene Chua. I hope I said that right. It's published by Simon & Schuster. In your packet you picked up at the library, you will find the book, Amy Wu and the Patchwork Dragon, and an art kit put together by our educational partners at the Skidmore College's Tang Museum. I really love this book, and I hope that you find a special place for this book in your heart as well and on your bookshelves. I love this book because it covers how important families are, how to build your own self-esteem. It explores the Chinese culture and the European Western culture. It inspires creativity, and most importantly, I think it encourages our young ones to find their own voice, to communicate to us when they need something and when they want to pursue a passion. So before I start reading this book to you, I hope that you will follow along, and I have some questions I want you to think about. So in this book, it's all about making something yours, making it unique. And so I want you to think about, how does Amy make her dragon? What art supplies does she use? And then I want you to think about how you would make your dragon, and hold on to those thoughts really tightly. You can take a peek at all of the supplies in the art kit to help inspire you. Amy Wu and the Patchwork Dragon by Kat Zhang, illustrated by Charlene Chua. During story time, Miss Mary reads Amy's class a book about dragons. Dragons that hoard treasure. Dragons that blow fire. Dragons that fight knights in gleaming armor. Afterwards, she tells everyone to make their own dragons. Make them special, she says. Make them yours. Sam draws a dragon with enormous teeth. He crafts the wings from postage stamps. Willa sculpts a dragon with a big fat belly, and she strings daisies for the tail. Amy paints a dragon with a long, thin body. It has horns like a stag and claws like an eagle. Are you sure that's a dragon? Asks Sam. It doesn't look like a dragon, adds Willa. Look at Sam and Willa's face. How do you think they are feeling after looking at Amy's dragon? Shocked? That's a good word. Confused? Also a very good word. Yeah, they look kind of confused. Do you think it looks like a dragon? I mean, it's got like scales and it's got the basic shape. Does her dragon have to look like their dragons? Of course not. Remember what the teacher said? To make it your own, any way you want. Amy says, maybe they're right. How do you think Amy is feeling at Sam and Willa's response? Look at her face. She's got a half smile. She's kind of sad, a little indecisive, right? They may have hurt her feelings. What do you think? Yeah, but I don't think they meant to, right? Yeah, it was a mistake. They didn't mean to hurt her feelings. But Amy scribbles with her pencil and doodles with her crayons. She glues beads to the paper and some to her hair. Bits of dragons emerge. Dragons with shiny green scales, dragons with leathery wings. They look great. They look just like the dragons in Miss Mary's book. But none of them work. None of them feel quite right. These dragons are not the dragons Amy wanted to make. Time to clean up, says Miss Mary. I'm not done, cries Amy. How do you think Amy feels when the teacher says it's time to clean up? Look at that face. Look at the eyebrows. She's like horrified, right? She's sad. Disappointed. That's a great word. Unprepared, right? How do you feel when you run out of time to eat food or to build something or to play? Not ready, right? Mad, even? Yeah. What do you think you can tell your adult when you're not quite ready? You can ask for more time, yeah. But if it's something you have to do later because you have someplace else to be, you can ask them very nicely if you could go back to that activity when there's more time. That's the best way to use your voice. Yeah. The rest of the class put their dragons on the show and tell table. But there's nothing from Amy. It's empty. Nothing at all. I bet she felt very sad about that. She ran out of time. What can you do? She didn't feel like she could had anything that she was proud to share. And that's okay. Willa and Sam, they come over after school. But Amy can't even smile. Oh dear, says Amy's grandma. Why the sad face? So Amy tells her. That's right. Grandmas always want to know how your day went. Her grandma gets a twinkle in her eye. Come, she says, let me tell you a story. Why do you think Grandma got a twinkle in her eye? Yes, she had an idea, like that light bulb that comes up in your head of how to solve a problem. She tells them about dragons that bring down the rain and dragons that are wise and just. Dragons that fly without wings. Amy runs to the attic. She remembers where she got the idea for her dragon. She pulls out something red and yellow. Something with a big fat snout. That's another name for a nose on an animal. It's called a snout. And golden horns. A dragon, gasps Sam and Willa. A dragon, agrees Amy. Amy's grandma put on the costume's head and Amy put on the tail. Together they dance down the attic steps and roar through the house. Roar with me. Nice roaring. Maybe you can bring it to school, says Sam. Please, please bring it to school, begs Willa. Says Amy. She thinks about the dragons in Miss Mary's book. She thinks about the dragons in Grandma's story. Bringing this dragon to class would be great, but there's something missing. Something to make the dragon Amy's. Remember? You gotta make it yours. So after Sam and Willa go home, Amy begins to plan. She shows her sketches to her family. Will you help me? She asks. What do you think their answer is? Of course they will. They measure out fabric and cut it into shape. They carve a cardboard frame and fasten the cloth. Amy knots together 3 silk scarves. Then she adds some beads and some glitter. And a little more glitter just because. Ready? Asks Grandma. Amy takes a deep breath. Ready, she says. Amy comes to school with a big paper bag. The other children gather around. Is it your dragon? Asks Willa. Show us, cries Sam. Amy puts on the dragon's head. She invites Willa and Sam beneath the dragon's tail. Together, they dance through the classroom and roar between the desks. Roar with me. Everybody cheers. Miss Mary laughs so hard she can't even breathe. Amy's dragon is red and yellow. It has a big, fat snout, golden horns. There's a snout, there's the horns, green wings, and a tail of 3 scarves, and beads, and glitter, and lots of glitter. It works splendidly. It feels just right. It is exactly the dragon Amy wanted to make. Look at how proud she looks. All right, that's the end of the story. You guys can take a look at this on your own time. I just have a couple more questions that I want you to think about while you are preparing your craft. It's about the words Grandma used. Dragons that are wise and just. Wise and just. Does anyone know what wise means? Yeah, it means that you're smart, right? Yeah. Someone says you're wise, it means you're smart. It also kind of means like if you're old, you could be really smart. And so it also means that the older you get, the more you come to understand that things are good and true. That just means that you know that things are a certain way, and when they're that certain way, they can be genuine, authentic, not fake. They're true. Just. Any guesses on what just means? Just means fair. Like a just knight. A knight is kind of like a police officer, right? They make sure that citizens are being fair with one another. If I take an apple, I pay for the apple because the farmer fed the plant that produced the apple and they want to be paid for their work. So just means fair or being good. And I know that you guys love things to be fair. Like if I say you guys have been great listeners today, go ahead and ask your parents or grandparents for a cookie. That would only be fair, right? And if you get a cookie, then I get a cookie too. That's fair. It's equal. These dragons that Grandma spoke about, they know how to do things right. They know how to make good choices. Just like I know you guys know how to do too. Okay, let's get back to Amy's dragon. So, do you remember in the title of the story, there's that word patchwork dragon? Well, the phrase patchwork dragon. Can anyone tell me what patchwork means? You can get a hint from your parents or grandparents. Yes, it's like something that's put together with same materials, or they could be different. So like different types of paper, like construction paper and tissue paper and streamers and that foils, that can all make a patchwork art. Your grandparents or your grandma probably makes a quilt, which is like a blanket with different shapes and colors of fabric. That also makes a patchwork. And quilts can be on our bed or they can be hung on the wall as art. Yeah, and so let's go back. Amy Wu makes her dragon with what materials? Cardboard, yes. She used the scarves, glitter, sequin beads. She used crayons and pencils when she was in class. And she used the sequin beads again and lots of glitter. So there are different ways that you can make a patchwork dragon. And I want you guys to keep that in mind as you think about how to design your own. Are you ready to build your own patchwork dragon? Great. But wait. Do you know your dragons? There are two cultures that are talked about in the book, Eastern and Western. So really quickly, so you know what type of dragon you are building. Eastern dragons are from East Asia. They are found in stories, folklore, mythology, religion. They have many meanings depending on the story that they're in, but mainly they're good luck. They are found in countries Japan, China, Vietnam, and Korea. You'll find them in all parts of their life, in celebrations, like in their Chinese New Year or in their New Year celebrations. Their calendar, that's called the zodiac, depends on which animal, which month you're born into. In art, their home decorations, their fabrics that they use to make clothing and to design their homes. What do they look like? Pay close attention here. They are snake-like. So they have squiggly lines. They have 4 legs. They don't breathe fire or have wings. But they do have magic inside them that helps them travel in the sky or live underwater. What do they do? Well, in those countries and in their stories, dragons are sacred. That means that they are divine, holy, that they're respected. They protect royalty and people, and they guard important places like heaven or like the gates of a palace. They are created and represent elements found on earth. Now, elements are just the natural resources we find on earth, like wind, fire, water, and land. The dragons represent those elements and create those elements. Like in Grandma's story where they made the rain. Yeah. Examples of Eastern dragons are a dragon named Haiku in the popular anime film and manga called Spirited Away, Azulonmon in the TV series Digimon, Gyarados. Some of you guys, Pokemon fans out there, will recognize Gyarados as one of the Pokemon monsters. And Godzilla, yes. Big Lizard has a lot of the features of a dragon. And in each of these stories or characters, they all have different symbolic meaning. I would say that the Gyarados in Pokemon, you can look at its characteristics and powers. They're there to be friends. Friendship is key. Western dragons, on the other hand, originate from Europe and Australia. They appear in those stories from those countries in Europe and Australia. The most popular and familiar story that we would know is Pete's Dragon. And Western dragons look like animals we fear. Did you know that? It's kind of like a cautionary tale. Big cats, large birds, snakes, and bats. Western dragons, they live on land, in forests and caves. They breathe fire and have wings. They have 4 legs and are made of many different parts of those animals that we fear. So they might have scales of large fish, wings of a bat, a body of a snake. They are often in our stories as loving treasure, and they are often written as evil, greedy, and dangerous. They like to attack princesses and maidens and kidnap them. They like to attack villages, people, armies, like Smaug in The Lord of the Rings or Maleficent in the Disney story. So these are all like characteristics, but you don't have to follow the tradition. You're making your dragon the way you want to make it. And so now I will turn you over to Sunny and her educators that will walk you through how they interpreted Amy Wu and the Patchwork Dragon and created their own unique dragon. And I hope that you will share with us the dragon that you make with all of the art supplies provided.
Hi there, my name is Sunny Raw, the museum educator here at the Tang Teaching Museum at Skidmore College, and we're very excited to partner with the Schenectady Public Library to show you how to make your own dragon inspired by Amy Wu and the Patchwork Dragon by Kat Zhang. So me and my educators, we're gonna show you how to make your own dragon in very different ways that expresses who you are and what makes you feel good. So let's get started. So for my patchwork dragon drawing, all you need is some paper like this. You'll just need markers and some color pencils, but you'll start with a regular graphite pencil to start your dragon drawing. So I'm gonna imagine what my drawing is gonna look like. So it's gonna be sort of like half aquatic water animal that lives in the ocean and part land animal. So I'll show you how I'm gonna first draw my dragon. So I'm gonna first start with the head, and then I'm gonna start with some like kind of hair, horn type things, and then down to the neck, and then the mouth. I'm gonna make the mouth pretty big with some teeth. It's gotta have some teeth so they can eat, right? Eating is important. And then I'll do the nose and the rest of the head. And I'll just do the rest of the body like so. I'm gonna give it some wings. And so my finished drawing is gonna look like this. Like that. So that will be my dragon, the first drawing. Now, you're going to want to put some more details in it, like the eyes or some patterns and some different kind of fun stuff. So for my drawing, I'm gonna draw maybe an eye. So I'll make an eye that looks like this, give it a pupil, some accents on the eye. I'm gonna get some nostrils and maybe some smoke coming out of the nose, like so. And then I'm gonna make hearts for the stomach part, just like that. And you'll just keep embellishing it the way that you want and the designs that you think is really cool. So I'll show you my finished drawing of my dragon with all the different parts. And I put like little hair, I gave it like a little swirly cheek, some scales for the neck part, and I gave it a big tail and some wings. So that's my finished drawing. And now it's time to embellish it. So I'm gonna take some markers and I'm going to start coloring different parts of my dragon and use whatever colors that you think looks best. You can use your favorite colors. You can use colors that kind of make you happy. My dragon's gonna be a happy dragon. And you can just keep coloring and designing your dragon to whatever you would like to create. And remember, just like in the book, make something that makes you feel good and expresses who you are. Okay, so you just keep doing that until you finish your dragon, and this is my finished product right here. So this is my dragon inspired by Amy Luna Patchwork Dragon. So let's turn to the rest of our educators to show their own unique dragons.
Hi everyone, so I'm gonna show you my dragon that I made here. And so for my dragon, I drew this dragon shape here, and then I added some different features to it. So I added some horns. I wanted my dragon to be happy because I want more happiness in the world. And then I added a lot of different colors. So I used pretty much every color in the rainbow to create some feathers. I wanted my dragon to be soft, kind of like a bird. So I drew in some feathers, and then I used some tissue paper in different strips and different colors to make some of the feathers, and I just glued that on top of my dragon, and that created this different feathered effect. So that's one way to do it. In this one here, I also used cupcake liners. So have fun. I'm going to pass it off to our next educator.
Now that we've seen Cassie's dragon, here's mine. Mine is inspired mostly by Chinese dragons and Chinese mythology. I used a lot of fire elements in the color red, and here are some of the materials that I used to make it. I used a lot of tissue paper that I folded into like fan-like shapes, and a lot of shiny paper like these to make scales to make figures that I thought looked like scales. I added features like whiskers and horns, and a lot of other stuff like pattern paper and markers for me to color the dragon in and finish my dragon.
Hi everybody, I'm Paul and I'll be showing you my dragon design. So this is my dragon. I made it very long and squiggly, kind of like an S shape with this toothy mouth here and these very big bushy eyebrows. I know that a lot of lizards are green in our real world, and so I made it green, but Skidmore's colors are green and yellow, and so I decided that I'd make the belly and some of the wing elements and a bit of the eyebrows yellow too. And then I thought I'd add a little bit of our tissue paper here to make it more fun and three-dimensional. And so I got my handy glue stick, I glued the tissue paper, and I had these two little tail feather elements that I stuck on right at the end. But this is my dragon. I hope you enjoy making yours.
Thank you for making art with us.
Read for the record. Read for the record. We're all reading the same book on the same day. Together we're learning, imagination's churning. If we can read just one book,